I'd like to talk about my concert in November 2013. I'd like to invite you to this concert. For me, this concert especially, maybe among all concerts I have done so far with the Tokyo Metropolitan Symphony, will be very special. And that's because it will include a piece extremely close to my heart, one of the most profound compositions of Czech musical history. It's the piece which is called Azrael Symphony, and it's composed by Josef Suk. Josef Suk may not be so well known in Japan, so I'd like to say a couple of words about him. He was a son-in-law of Antonín Dvořák and his beloved student. He studied composition with Dvořák and got so fond of his family that he spent a lot of time together with them. Later on, he fell in love with Dvořák's daughter, whose name was Otilie, or Otilka in short version. They fell in love and they married. So there was really a bond between Dvořák and Suk here, and I'm speaking about it because it's very important for the piece. Azrael Symphony. What is Azrael? Azrael is a Islamic Muslim angel of death, and there was a symbol for Dvořák connecting his compositional ideas to what happened in his life. In 1904, when Suk himself was 30 years old, so something like my age, a bit younger, so I can really try to imagine his situation and live his experience. In this year, in 1904, Antonín Dvořák died. It was a very sudden situation. Nobody expected him to die because he was in full life. He composed very regularly. He was in his best shape, and suddenly he died. So it was a terrible shock for Josef Suk because he loved him, and Suk himself was very emotional a person. He took every sad situation extremely personally. So he was really desperately beaten by this news and decided to find a way out of it through composing a symphony. He had composed one before, so it would be his second symphony, and he called this symphony Azrael, according to the angel of death, who is helping people after they die, as the mythology says, on their next journey. But when he was in the middle of composing the last movement of this four-movement symphony, unfortunately, believe it or not, his wife Otilka died as well. So it was really another bad news, shocking news for Suk, and I think he was very fortunate that he could ride himself of his mood and of his situation through composition, because otherwise it could have had a very bad effect on him, how much he took it personally. He decided to increase the symphony and create a symphony of 5 movements, from which the first, second and third are dedicated to Dvořák, his father-in-law, and the fourth and fifth to Otilka, his wife. The whole symphony is occupied by 2 motives, one motive of fate and one motive of death, and one of them is taken from Dvořák Requiem. So there's a very symbolical thing about this symphony. I'd like to confess I chose this symphony as my graduation concert work. When I finished my studies at the Academy of Performing Arts in Prague, I chose just this work. And I tell you why. There are 2 reasons. One is that having heard the symphony before live, for the first time in my life, was one of the most profound and touching experiences in my life at that time, probably even the most touching. And second, I really believe that pieces like this, which occupy themselves with very difficult topics, but which also offer some way out of the difficulty, some resurrection, if you want, some hope, some recipe how to manage them, are very important and should be played often. And if I feel connected to that piece, I feel obliged to present it. I think you will like that piece. It's not an easy listening, but I think it's a wonderful and transforming experience. That will be in the second half. In the first half, two shorter pieces. Symbolically, Dvorak's piece, his Nocturne in B major, so there's this connection also in the program, not only in the symphony. And then Martinu, his oboe concerto with Tomoyuki Hirota, a fantastic first oboe player of the orchestra, whom I know from our concerts on stage and adore. So please do come. It will be really a special event for me and hopefully for you as well. ありがとうございます。